Don't you love it when you can read just 18 verses and get 5 wonderful spiritual lessons from it? 18 verses, 5 wonderful spiritual lessons. You'll find it in chapter 20 of the book of Genesis. You may want to go ahead and stop the video now and go and read the entire 18 verses and see if you can get the 5 lessons. You might get 20 lessons. I just picked out 5, but it'd be interesting to see. You might want to just jot me a note and tell me how many spiritual lessons you got out of those 18 verses. But I want us to take a look at just a few of the verses and then look at the 5 spiritual lessons that we can get from Genesis chapter 20. Abraham said of Sarah his wife, "She is my sister." So Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream of the night and said to him, "Behold, you are a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is married." Now Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, "Lord, will you slay a nation even though blameless? Did he not himself say to me, 'She is my sister,' and she herself say, 'He is my brother'? In the integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands, I have done this." Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know that in the integrity of your heart you have done this, and I also kept you from sinning against her. Therefore I did not let you touch her." If this seems like history repeating itself, it pretty much is. You see, if you go back and read Genesis chapter 12, you'll find it's a different place and a different leader who Abraham has said that Sarah was his sister. But it's the same mistake all over again. And if you read this carefully, you're going to see that there are a lot of nuances that we can learn from. 18 verses, 5 lessons. So what are they? Lesson number 1, found in Genesis chapter 20, verse 2. Sometimes we don't learn from our mistakes. Let me say that again. Sometimes we don't learn from our mistakes. Have you made the same mistake over and over again spiritually? Have you been careless and not learned when you made a mistake? I think it's very easy for us to do that, but we need to be careful, because how long will God be patient with us if we keep making the same mistakes, if we keep ignoring his word? Second lesson, God does not hold us accountable for what somebody else does, for the lies they tell, if we don't know the truth. And it's very, very interesting that we see here that Abimelech is not held accountable for the lies that both Sarah and Abraham have told him, because he really, truly in his heart did not know the truth. Lesson number 3. God does not mess around if we disobey. If you read carefully verse 7, you'll find that God tells Abimelech, "I'll not hold you responsible for this, but you better not touch her, because if you do, you're a dead man." He doesn't mess around, does he? Lesson 4. Half-truths are just as bad as lies. Abraham tries to justify his saying, "She's my sister," but in fact, he could have easily told Abimelech, "She's my half-sister, but I married her and she's my wife." But rather, he was hiding behind a half-truth that technically, that he was, in fact, brother and sister with Sarah, but he was also husband and wife with Sarah. Point number 5. God often blesses us in spite of ourselves. The wonderful thing about this story is that Abimelech blessed Abraham with money, with animals, and returning his wife untouched. Abimelech was blessed when Abraham prayed for him and blessed him, and the ability of Abimelech's wife and the others in his court were given the ability to bear children of their own. And so we see blessings for Abimelech for having been obedient to God. We see blessings for Abraham almost in spite of himself because he continues to make the same dumb mistakes. Nevertheless, 5 wonderful spiritual lessons in just 18 verses. We don't learn from our mistakes. God does not hold us accountable when others lie to us, especially if we don't understand that it's a lie. God doesn't mess around when we disobey. Half-truths are just as bad as lies. And often God blesses us in spite of ourselves, as he did with Abraham. That's my thought for the day, and I'm so thankful that we have such a merciful and gracious and blessed God. And my thought for the day. God bless.